Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves because what just erupted out of Minnesota, what President Donald J. Trump himself has now stepped into is not a scandal. It is a detonation, a system-wide blast zone of fraud, corruption, remittances, and panic flying straight into the halls of Congress. And one name is at the center of it all. Ilhan Omar. Tonight, she's not calm. She's not confident. She's not in control. In fact, no. Ilhan Omar is shaking on stage, firing off accusations, yelling about lies and racism and xenophobia, because the one thing that she swore wasn't happening, the Trump administration just dragged into the sunlight. Now, for years, people whispered that Minnesota's welfare system was being abused. Whistleblowers were shouting from the rooftop. For years, anyone who dared question those exploding autism therapy numbers, those skyrocketing housing claims, those mysterious nonprofit payouts, they were smeared as bigots. And suddenly, boom, federal auditors walked in under Trump, and within days, the whole thing unravels like a cheap rug. Paper trails, money clusters, identical deposits, transfers that don't end in Minneapolis but end 6,000 miles away in districts known for extremist influence. And now Trump isn't monitoring, he isn't reviewing, no, he's moving in. And the Democrats are melting down because they already know this isn't a conspiracy, this is a map that Trump is following straight to the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button and subscribe. Let me walk you through the moment everything snapped, when Minnesota went from something feels off to, oh my God, this is massive, okay? Because when Trump's federal audit teams stepped inside the state's Medicaid and housing systems, the numbers didn't whisper fraud. They screamed it. Autism therapy spending didn't grow. It detonated from $2.6 million to $122 million in a matter of years. Housing stabilization services spending didn't rise. It exploded straight through the ceiling, landing at levels analysts say are mathematically impossible without organized fraud. Then the hammer dropped. The same suspicious patterns found in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal scam suddenly appeared inside the Medicaid system. Same structure, same paperwork, same coordinated signatures. This wasn't sloppy. This wasn't accidental. This was a network. And when Trump saw that, he knew Minnesota wasn't dealing with a glitch. It was dealing with a machine. And now this is where the room starts spinning, because once analysts traced the Minnesota money, they realized that the money trail didn't end in the US. It didn't stop at Minneapolis nonprofits. It didn't stop at community organizations. No, the dollars kept moving straight into remittance networks leading into Somalia. And not just random transfers. We're talking identical clusters, repeating amounts, flagged routes. The same transfer chains U.S. intelligence has monitored for years. City Journal blew this wide open. Fraudulent benefits, autism therapy money, HSS housing funds, and meal program cash were flowing into money traders who operate in districts where known extremist presence exists. Millions in taxpayer cash funneled out of Minnesota infrastructure, drifting 6,000 miles into regions American counterterror agencies have been watching like hawks. This wasn't a crack in the system. This was a pipeline that finally triggered the federal alarm. Now, quick reality check, folks. There are moments in life when you think you're protected, and then you find out the fine print is the real enemy. So let me ask you the same question Chapter asks everyone. It's not, do you have a Medicare plan? The real question is, do you have the right one? You see, guys, Chapter doesn't just look at your plan. They help you ask the questions you didn't even know you needed to ask. Now, one viewer told me, they helped me ask what I didn't even know to ask. Exactly. This is why their clients are saving money. Now, most people asking better questions are calling the phone number at the bottom of your screen right there, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron on the web. I left a link for you on the description down below. So let me ask you directly, do you want your retirement drained, or do you want to do what thousands of people already are and protecting it? Now, most people, they're dialing the phone number down below. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Lee Birkin. He said, I called Chapter and will save $1,200 a year for my Medicare coverage. I told a friend's mother and gave her the phone number so that she can find out if she has the right plan or not. That right there, guys, this is how real change spreads. One smart decision, one shared blessing, and suddenly someone else's life gets better. Someone else's life gets lighter. I love seeing that. Now, here's where the entire country stopped and said, hold on, what? Because when Treasury analysts flagged that suspicious remittance pattern, national security teams were pulled in immediately. And the moment that those experts saw the transfer routes, they recognized them like fingerprints. Why? Because they matched known pathways used in previous terror financing investigations that were tied to Al-Shabaab, the Al-Qaeda-linked extremist group that was embedded in parts of Somalia. Now, let me be extremely clear here. Federal agencies have not declared that Minnesota welfare dollars directly funded terrorism. That statement has not been made. But you know what has been said? That the financial patterns are so concerning, they're so eerily similar to flagged extremist roots that the entire operation was escalated into a national security priority under President Trump. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why Ilhan Omar's voice cracked. That is why she panicked, because the moment terror links are even suspected, the gloves come off. And so what does Ilhan Omar do when she realizes Trump's investigators are not backing down? She rushes onto a stage in Minneapolis and unleashes one of the most unhinged, emotional, frantic speeches of her entire political career. She's pointing at reporters, she's shaking her head aggressively, she's shouting about lies and bigotry and xenophobia. She's saying there is not a single piece of evidence, over and over and over. I mean, here's the problem, guys. You don't go DEFCON 1 in front of cameras if you feel safe. You don't panic if you know you're clean. You don't melt down publicly when you're confident that the truth is on your side. No. This is damage control. This is desperation. This was someone who just realized that the federal government wasn't going to just sweep this under the rug anymore. And, well, the more she shouted, the more Trump leaned in. And then here comes President Donald J. Trump standing in front of reporters like a man holding every receipt in the room. A journalist asks him, what do Somalians have to do with this? And Trump doesn't blink. He doesn't soften it. He doesn't do the politician tap dance. He says, Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. We're not taking their people anymore, and we're getting a lot of their people out. Boom. The moment he said that, the political earthquake hit, because that wasn't commentary. That wasn't a threat. That was policy direction from the President of the United States. Democrats nearly collapsed. Omar nearly fainted. Twitter turned into a war zone. Why? Because Trump had just reframed the fraud scandal. That wasn't about, improper paperwork. This wasn't about administrative oversight. This was about national security and immigration integrity. And Trump wasn't backing down at all. Within days of Trump's comments, the federal government moved like a SWAT team, but on paper. No tanks, no troops, just investigators, analysts, and auditors with badges and subpoenas. The DOJ expanded its fraud task network in Minnesota. DHS pulled immigration reports and records for every high-risk suspect. Treasury investigators widened their remittance tracking net, flagging unusual transfer clusters in real time. Federal Medicaid auditors began digging through 5 years of claims, line by line, every line. This wasn't a review. This was a government-wide sweep, a coordinated crackdown designed to expose every shell company, every false claim, every dollar that vanished into thin air. Insiders even said Trump instructed agencies to treat every unexplained transfer as suspicious until proven otherwise. Suddenly, Minnesota wasn't a state with a fraud problem. It was a crime scene under federal excavation. And every new discovery made Ilhan Omar's political world smaller and Trump's momentum bigger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the Democrats start running. I mean, the moment that Trump's federal teams began digging, Minnesota's Democratic leadership transformed from nothing to see here, folks, to we are deeply concerned overnight, kind of like flipping a switch. Governor's office suddenly blaming administrative breakdowns, Minneapolis officials holding press conferences trying to look shocked. Local Democrats quietly scrubbing statements where they dismissed early whistleblowers as racists. Even national Democrats began whispering about Ilhan Omar being a political liability. And why? Because the scandal wasn't just fraud anymore. It wasn't just paperwork anymore. It wasn't even a policy embarrassment anymore. It was $100 million plus in taxpayer money vanishing through networks under the very noses of leaders who spent years telling everyone that the system was strong, the oversight was tight, and the critics were bigots. And now their entire narrative is collapsing, and Trump is the only one holding the spotlight. Now, to really understand how deep this hole goes, you've got to connect the dots, because Minnesota isn't dealing with one scandal. It's dealing with a fraud ecosystem. First, there was Feeding Our Future, the massive $300 million meal scam that made national headlines. Fake food sites, phantom children, nonprofits popping up overnight like mushrooms. That case alone should have triggered the toughest oversight crackdown in state history. But instead, the same patterns, same communities, same document structures, same funding loopholes, they started popping up in autism therapy claims. Autism spending jumped from $3 million to nearly $400 million. Let that sink in for a second, okay? At the same time, the Housing Stabilization Services Program detonated from pocket change into a $122 million cash fire. These weren't random events. These were parallel fraud pipelines feeding off weak oversight and political protection. And Trump's investigators, well, they're now pulling all of those threads together. Then came the moment that shook the entire Somali diaspora in Minnesota. Arrest number 74. Ahmed Naji Sheikh, taken into custody, accused of laundering taxpayer dollars stolen in the Feeding Our Future operation. And he wasn't some random guy in the background. He was the brother of Abi Aziz Farah, the man slapped with a 28-year federal prison sentence for stealing more than $50 million. $50 million. Think about that, guys. These weren't petty thieves. These weren't desperate families. These were organized criminal networks operating inside Minnesota for years. Community leaders rushed to try and contain the fallout, begging the public not to judge everyone, but the damage was already done. And behind closed doors, federal agents hinted that more arrests were coming, many more. Suddenly, Omar wasn't defending a policy position. She was defending a community in shock as Trump's investigators started closing in. And this right here, guys, this is where Democrats realized that the storm wasn't just financial. It was political Armageddon. Republicans unleashed the full artillery. They blasted Minnesota's leadership for ignoring warnings. They called out state officials for labeling whistleblowers as racist. They demanded accountability for years of oversight failure. Conservative media turned the scandal into a symbol of everything broken in progressive governance: weak enforcement, identity politics over security, and a willingness to look away if the fraudsters belong to a protected political demographic. And Trump, he weaponized the truth. He tied Minnesota's scandal to immigration, national security, border integrity, and the failure of sanctuary-style politics. His supporters said what millions were already thinking. Trump did in weeks what Democrats refused to do for a decade. Meanwhile, Democrats could only react, scrambling, sweating, stumbling through talking points, because every new arrest was another strike against them. And right when Ilhan Omar thought things couldn't get any worse, the internet said, "Oh, we're not done." Suddenly, old reports, clips, and commentaries about Omar's Somali family background, they resurfaced everywhere, not as confirmed facts, but as widely circulated allegations the media never wanted discussed. Claims that her family wasn't fleeing oppression, but fleeing losing power. Claims that they were part of a political elite in Somalia tied to factions and tribes at the top of the system before the country collapsed. Now, again, we're not declaring these claims as factual, but they resurfaced because people were asking a simple question. Why is she panicking this hard, right? Add in Somali tribal politics, long-standing rivalries inside the diaspora, and the perception that Ilhan Omar represents one group over others, and suddenly, well, her meltdown looked less like moral outrage and more like political survival. Well, the storyline shifted from fraud to loyalty, and America was watching this happen. By now, the truth is undeniable. Minnesota is no longer a state scandal. It's the epicenter of a national reckoning. President Trump's vow to take back Minnesota wasn't a campaign slogan. This was a presidential directive. His investigators uncovered a pattern that was so massive, so interconnected, so reckless that states across the nation are now checking their own books in panic. Governors are asking for briefings. Lawmakers are demanding hearings. Agencies that ignored red flags for years are scrambling to look competent. Because if Minnesota's system, America's largest Somali diaspora hub, was this deeply compromised, then the ripple effects go far beyond one state. Think about it. This is about immigration integrity, welfare oversight, national security, and restoring trust in institutions that failed the American people. And as more indictments land, one thing is certain: Trump didn't just expose a scandal. He ignited a movement demanding accountability, demanding protection, and demanding the truth.